A relationship takes two people, but a relationship also becomes more harmonious if it is accepted by each other's families. So meeting the parents is actually a huge deal, especially if you plan to marry your partner and become an official part of their family. Before we continue, please take some time to subscribe to Dailydose, like, and share this video with your friends. For this couple, something strange happened the first time they met up with their parents. It was the first time everyone was seeing each other, and one mother was actually looking uncomfortable. Heidi grew up very close to her mom, Kay. They were more like best friends than mother and daughter. You can tell that the two shared a very special bond. So when Heidi got her acceptance letter from the University of Newcastle, it was a bittersweet day for the two. Although it would be hard to leave Kay behind, Heidi was also excited at the same time. Heidi decided to take up economics and management at the University of Newcastle. This was her chance to gain some independence, and Kay understood this. During Heidi's first year, she stayed in a shared apartment. It was the first time she was going to live without her mother nearby, but she soon found that she loved being independent and was able to come out of her shell and be her own person. In her second year, Heidi decided to get her own place. She found a small studio and moved in immediately. This turned out to be the best decision in her life. If she had not moved, she would not be able to meet the love of her life, Ed. Ed was a psychology and business student in the same university and happened to take in Heidi's place in the shared apartment. He was trying to do his laundry when he found that there was something wrong with the machine. He needed help with the washing machine and decided to track down the previous tenant, which was Heidi. He found Heidi's name on some mail she had left behind and tried to see if she could help him out. Ed found her on Facebook and sent her a message. While talking to strangers online was not really her thing, Heidi decided to help Ed out. She remembered her first impression of him was that he was very good looking when she checked out his Facebook profile. When she came over to help him out, though, they did nothing more than just figure out how to operate the apartment's washing machine together. Ed behaved like a complete gentleman, and Heidi thought that she would never hear from Ed again. One night, Heidi went out with her friends at a local bar. While enjoying the time out from her studies, she had a strange feeling that someone was watching her. Following the strange feeling, Heidi turned around and immediately locked eyes with Ed. Seeing Ed again surprised her. Heidi recalled that the first thing she thought of was that, wow, he's hot. Heidi thought that he was gorgeous. And from the short time they had spent together figuring out the washing machine, she could tell that he was a great guy. Ed came over, and after talking for a while, it did not take long for Ed to ask her out. Ed invited Heidi to have dinner together at a local pizza restaurant for their first official date. The two hit it off and immediately became close. They dated exclusively all throughout their university days, which was considered a major feat nowadays. The two had their own plans for their futures, but as their relationship progressed, those plans changed as well. They decided they did not want to go their separate ways after college. After graduating from university, Heidi and Ed decided to move to London and continue to the next phase of their life there, together. The two settled down in different apartments and got jobs. They cheered each other on as they progressed from students to professionals. It did not take long for Ed to realize that he wanted more out of the relationship. He knew he could not see himself dating anyone but Heidi. The two have been dating for 4 years when Ed decided to propose. So, Ed started shopping for a ring. He also tried to figure out how he was going to propose to Heidi. He brought the ring with him always in case a special moment comes up on one of their dates. The moment finally came when Ed and Heidi were taking a walk on Derbyshire's Chatsworth House. Ed got down on one knee and asked Heidi to marry him, and it is no surprise that Heidi immediately said yes. The two were obviously smitten with each other. They could not wait to take their relationship to the next step, but then they realized they had to do something before they get married. Surprisingly, despite dating for a long time, the two never met each other's parents. Their parents did not get the chance to visit them while they were at the university. Now that they were engaged, it was the perfect time to meet each other's parents. Heidi and Ed scheduled a nice dinner for their parents to meet up and to tell them the news. Little did they know that things were about to get weird. On the big day, Ed and Heidi were very nervous. Both of them had to make a good impression, and they were not sure if their parents would get along. It was definitely a nerve-wracking time for them. What if nobody got along? Ed chose one of Heidi's favorite restaurants. Meeting up somewhere familiar would probably help calm down the nerves. During the dinner, the conversation seemed to have pleasant flows. However, Kay kept staring at Ed. Heidi did not know why her mother was acting so strange. Kay could not help herself. When she first laid eyes on Ed, she had a feeling that she has seen him somewhere before. She spent the evening wondering why he looked so familiar, darting glances at her daughter's boyfriend from time to time. When it was becoming obvious that Kay was staring too much at Ed, Heidi decided to ask her mom if they could speak in private. Heidi led Kay outside and jumped straight to the point. "You are acting strange. Don't you like Ed?" But before Kay could answer, they were interrupted. Ed told them to come back inside because it was time to tell everyone an important announcement. Once everyone was back in their seats, Ed announced their engagement. Everyone was happy, including Kay. When Kay got back home, she decided to shake off any suspicions she had about Ed and set her mind to helping Heidi get ready for her wedding. Kay went up to the attic of the house looking for anything that the newly engaged couple might need. This was where she spotted old photo albums in a corner. Kay decided to flip through the photo albums and do some reminiscing. She then thought about why she felt she had seen Ed before. Kay started looking for photo albums from the 90s until she found the one where their family took a trip to Turkey in the summer of 1997. Kay was not really sure of what she was looking for, but something about Ed made her think of that family trip. Kay flipped from one photo to the next until she landed on this particular picture. She could not believe her eyes. It was a picture of Heidi standing side by side with her childhood love. In the photo, a young Heidi had a very huge smile on. Anyone can tell that she was in a very happy mood. Heidi was standing next to a blonde boy who looked very shy but was able to flash a tight smile and a side dimple. This was Heidi's first boyfriend. Of course, it was nothing but a childhood thing, but Kay remembered how the two kids were inseparable. Kay could not believe her eyes. The little boy whom everyone considered to be Heidi's first boyfriend ever had looked very much like Ed. But is it possible? Although there was no telling if Kay's assumptions were correct, Kay knew she had to tell Heidi. She took the photo album down from the attic and immediately called up her daughter. Heidi had to see this picture. If this young boy was Ed, this would be a big deal for the two lovebirds. Could it be possible that the childhood lovers met again after more than 20 years? If this was real, everything seemed too good to be true. Kay called up Heidi and asked her to come and visit immediately. Kay did not give any specific details. She just said that she needed to see her right away. Heidi was not sure what to think. Her mother had a strange tone in her voice. It made her think about her mother's strange behavior towards Ed. Could this have something to do with it? Heidi was able to get off from her work early and went immediately to her mother's house. The moment Heidi walked into the door, Kay immediately grabbed Heidi's hand and led her to the couch. Kay wasted no time in telling her daughter what she found. She was talking excitedly and waving an old photograph in front of Heidi's face. Eventually, Kay accidentally dropped the old photo while she was talking, and when Heidi bent over to pick it up, she froze. She was looking at Ed. She knows that this is Ed. "Mom, you know who that is," Heidi exclaimed. She excitedly looked at the rest of the photos in the album. She stared at the photo where she was standing next to Ed. She remembered this photo was taken at a children's camp in Bodrum, Turkey. Ed and Heidi were about 6 years old when they attended the same camp. Heidi remembered making plans to keep in touch, but sadly the young lovebirds were not able to do so. But as fate would have it, they met again as adults, and at the right age where they fully understood what love is. Here is a pic of them recreating their childhood photo. "I was so shocked I actually had to lie down," Heidi said in an interview with Mail Online. Ed was amazed too. "We couldn't believe it." The fact that they were comfortable with each other when they first met as adults must be from a subconscious realization that they had shared history together. Heidi also shared that she was not the type of woman who believed in fate or destiny. But when they saw that photo, she changed her outlook on love and romance. "There's no arguing with it. We're clearly destined to be together." After this discovery, both families looked for pictures from their summer trip to Turkey. Amazingly, they were not the only ones who had met before. Both their families did. Ed and Heidi's siblings have played with each other too on the same trip, and there were photos to prove it. Finding the pictures proved to be a good thing too. It formed a bond for both families. The parents of Heidi and Ed are like the best of friends and have been planning vacation trips for the entire family together. Ed and Heidi knew they had to incorporate their childhood photo into their wedding somehow. In the end, they used the old photo on their wedding invitations. It was a great way to show their guests that they were destined to be together. Heidi and Ed said, "I do," a few months later in a huge wedding at Derbyshire in front of their nearest and dearest. Thanks to the old photo, the two were able to live in blissful harmony with their families. There is no doubt that this was a reunion that was meant to happen.